Alright guys, so today's video we are going to talk about two different wideband gauges from Autometer. Um, I've had to change mine out because I made the mistake of buying one that was only good for pump gas. You could use it with flex fuel, but it won't read or show correctly since it has a different range that it reads. So I had to get another version to match my other gauges that is fully programmable that can be used with different fuel types. And you can program the different AFR ranges and Stutch and all of that stuff. And it has other cool options that you can use. The one thing I will say between these two, the O2 sensor that it uses are identical, same part number, but the harness is different due to the different options. From what I can see, you could probably use the harness from the one I had on the new one, but the one from the new one won't work on the old one due to the way it's wired. So you have to use the corresponding harness that comes with it. Those themselves aren't interchangeable, but the O2 sensor is. These are both 2 1/16, so they fit in the triple gauge pod. The one I did have was a Phantom gauge, and then I went to the ES programmable, which is what I got now, to match the other ES series gauges that I have. And in my opinion, Autometer is just the best out there. They have analog, they got digital, they got a mix. Me personally, I like digital gauges. I like the digital readouts. I don't want to have to worry about analog gauges where you got to watch needles move back and forth and all of that. I want a digital number to where I can see out of the corner of my eye what the numbers are, what the colors are, and I know exactly what the car's saying, what it's doing. So I would prefer, my personal opinion is to get digital gauges. The Autometer ES series is which is what I got. They are highly accurate. I haven't had any problems with them. I mean, they read spot on, instant changes. I mean, they're damn good gauges. I mean, you're gonna pay for them. So we're gonna get into showing you them right now. All right. So what we got now is I already got the wideband installed in here. You can see the two switches for the mode selection and programming. There's the fuel pressure gauge, digital, and there's the boost vac gauge, that's digital. I was thinking about changing this out, but I think I'm just going to run a standalone boost controller and not get the stacker that I was going to. I can just get another one that's standalone, so I ain't got to take this whole thing apart again and rewire everything. But that's it, triple gauge pod. You know, it goes up in there, and there's the wiring from rerouting everything. But so this is what the ES series wideband looks like. And then this is the Phantom series. This one is the 5779. As you can see, it's a white face. They do have it in black face. They also have it in the chrome ring, or like this one, the black ring. It is still a digital gauge. It's just got a white face on it. And this one's non-programmable. This one is only good for pump gas. That's it. 89, 87, 93. You could probably run maybe cam 2. That's about it. You can't run E85 because it'll go, the range on this it just won't work. And then the one we went to was the ES series 5978 wideband, which is what's in here now. The cool thing about this is you can program it for 4 different types of fuel. You can do lambda or a regular 14:7:1 ratio version on the gauge. So that's pretty cool. Like London, they tune with lambda, so you could use lambda and read it that way. So you get an understanding if you know how to read lambda. I know how to read lambda, so I will probably end up going with lambda. And then you can do several different things with this one that you can't with the other. The Phantom gauge, that one there was $199. This one was $299, so it's $100 more. And in my opinion, it's well worth it. And I should have did this right off the rip. So you have different settings on this. You don't have no wire for lighting up the gauge, because right there between the two, you see that little circle right there between the two dots. That is a light sensor. So it's got an automatic sensor that will automatically dim or brighten the gauge. and you can actually go in there and program it to where it stays dim all the time, it stays bright all the time, or you let it control itself. It also has a peak hold. So let's say you're making a pass, you can always go back in there. It's got a trigger wire for a watt switch, and you can program it to tell you when you're done, just kind of like a tachometer, where you'd have the peak RPM. You can show you the peak air fuel ratio, so you can see how far it actually went up in case you didn't keep your eye on it. And it also has an alarm system on it, that you can do a watt alarm as well, that if it hits a certain lean number that you program into it, it will start flashing 5 times real fast, and the whole freaking thing will light up in different colors, and to give you a warning that you're going lean and to get out of it, which I think is pretty cool. Is another safety feature it has. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. It's one plug, like all of these. It is literally just one plug. And it's pretty cool. It comes with a an O2 sensor and all of that. This is the harness. Plugs into the wideband. I mean, it's more than, it's like 8 feet long. It's more than enough. It's gonna be hard to see, but let's see. Yeah, I can't turn my flash on. I need that a bit. Just see if I can maybe turn the brightness up. Let's see. Let me grab my flashlight. Yeah, there's my wiring. Oh, and this is for my fuel pumps. Don't ask, we'll get into that too. That's a different, I have a custom setup for that. But you can see there's my factory O2 right there. And then my wideband is right down there. So they say that you want the wideband 4 to 5 inches away from the turbo, the downpipe, but that is not really possible with this downpipe, because I didn't want to have it on top of the other O2. So I figured the best bet is to have it straight up in the air. That way there is a less chance of getting condensation built up in the O2 sensor, so the sensor itself will last a lot longer. And then I just run it up here, and there's the grommet and the firewall, which is where the old sound tube used to go, which was the gayest thing in the world, I think, that Ford did, was put the sound tube through the intake manifold, through the stock airbox system. So use that. I got a grommet, and I run all my wires in and out of the body through there. It's very, very easy and accessible. So that's pretty much it. We can get in here and see. So this is for my fuel pumps right here. Fuel pump 1, 2, and 3. So they are controlled intermittently from each other. Trust me, it was not easy to wire that up. But I have the backlighting is ran off the headlight switch. So as soon as I turn on the park lights, it's a low signal wire. So it just triggers ground, triggers the lights. And then, you know, I got all the grounds and powers. And then the main power wire that I have wired in that I'm redoing runs over to the kick panel, to another little fuse holder that has a trigger on ignition fuse, which I'll get into eventually where to hook into the proper ones where it's key on, powers up. But that's pretty much it. Just wanted to get involved with those 2 gauges. Let me know what you guys think. But I think the Autometer series gauges are probably the best ones on the market. I wouldn't suggest the Cobalt series gauges. They look cool, but I've heard there's been problems with those, and I just don't like the analog series that they have with those either. So if you're a tuner, that's be my guest. But in my opinion, for muscle car, black car especially, I mean, these light up red, and I just think they look super sweet at night and during the day. They just match the car and blend in nicely. So, all right, fellas, have a good one.